Somewhere in the deep Pacific Ocean, right now, an animal is dying. Not from a predator, not from disease, not from age. It is killing itself, deliberately, from the inside. Its own body releasing chemicals that shut it down organ by organ. And it is doing this, choosing this, because it just laid its eggs. Because for this animal, creating life and ending its own are the same event, the same moment, the same biology. That is not a horror story. That is motherhood, octopus motherhood, and it is just the beginning of how strange this animal gets. We are counting down 10 of them today, and I promise you by the time we reach number 1, you will not look at the ocean the same way ever again. Stay till the end. Number 1 is the one that broke science. Let's go. Number 10. The Mimic Octopus. Found in the shallow tropical waters of Southeast Asia, the coasts of Indonesia, the Philippines, the Gulf of Thailand, this one was not even discovered by science until 1998. For millions of years it was out there doing what it does, and we had no idea. What it does is this: it impersonates other animals, not in a vague, approximate way, precisely, convincingly, deliberately. The Mimic Octopus has been filmed flattening its body and undulating its arms in a specific rhythm to become a flatfish. It tucks 6 arms behind its body and extends 2 forward and backward to become a banded sea snake, complete with the black and white coloration and the slow side-to-side motion. It spreads its arms wide and hovers near the seafloor to look like a lionfish, the toxic spines mimicked by its spread limbs. It doesn't just hold one disguise, it switches between them based on what predator is approaching. Against a damselfish, which is terrified of sea snakes, it becomes a sea snake. Against something that avoids lionfish, it becomes a lionfish. It assesses the threat and chooses the costume. An octopus the size of your forearm doing threat analysis and selecting the appropriate theater response, in real time, with its own body. Length, up to 60 centimeters. Lifespan, around 1 year. Diet, small fish, shrimp, crabs, and one of the most sophisticated behavioral repertoires of any invertebrate alive. And that is just number 10. 9 more creatures are coming that will make the Mimic Octopus look like the normal one. If you are not subscribed yet, do it now, because you do not want to miss what comes next. Number 9. The Dumbo Octopus. If the Mimic Octopus represents surface-level strangeness, the Dumbo Octopus represents what happens when you go deep. Very deep. This animal lives at depths between 1,000 and 7,000 meters, the mesopelagic to the hadal zone. Depths where sunlight has never reached. Depths where the pressure would kill you before you had time to register it. The Dumbo Octopus gets its name from the 2 large, ear-like fins on either side of its mantle, its body, which it flaps to move through the water. It looks, genuinely, like a cartoon elephant flying through absolute darkness. It is the deepest living octopus known to science. One was recorded at nearly 7,000 meters, that's 7 kilometers straight down. The pressure at that depth is 700 times what you feel standing on the surface of Earth. It eats worms, crustaceans, and bivalves found on the seafloor. It swallows prey whole, unlike most octopuses which bite and tear. Scientists believe this is because at extreme depth, energy conservation is everything. Swallow whole. Spend nothing extra. There are at least 13 known species of Dumbo octopus. Most have never been observed living. We've only ever seen them in footage from deep-sea remotely operated vehicles, brief encounters in the dark, the fins waving, the animal vanishing back into a world we cannot reach. Length, up to 30 centimeters typically, though some species reach nearly 2 meters. They are believed to reproduce year-round, carrying eggs at various stages simultaneously, unlike most octopuses. Because down there, you take every opportunity. Number 8. The Blanket Octopus. There are 4 known species of Blanket Octopus, and to understand what makes them remarkable, you first need to understand their size difference between sexes. Because it is the most extreme sexual size dimorphism of any non-microscopic animal on Earth. The male Blanket Octopus is about 2.4 centimeters long. The female can be up to 2 meters. The female outweighs the male by 40,000 times. 40,000. The females are the ones with the blanket sheets of iridescent, translucent webbing that connects their dorsal and dorsal lateral arms. When threatened, they spread these webs wide, billowing them out like a cape to appear enormous and intimidating. The colors shift through blues and greens and purples as the web catches light. It is one of the most visually arresting sights in the ocean. The males have never been seen with the blanket. The males have a different strategy. They collect the tentacles of the Portuguese man-o'-war, one of the most venomous animals in the ocean, and carry them as weapons. They are immune to the venom. They rip off the stinging tentacles and hold them, using them against predators. The males are so small they were unknown to science until 2002. We knew the females existed for decades, we just couldn't find the males. When a male does find a female once in his entire life, he deposits a sperm packet and dies. He dies immediately. She carries his genetic material until she's ready to fertilize her hundreds of thousands of eggs. He will never know if the eggs hatch. Number 7. The Coconut Octopus. Also called the Veined Octopus. Found in the tropical Indo-Pacific in shallow, sandy coastal waters. And the reason it's on this list is 2 words: tool use. This is not a large animal reaching up to 15 centimeters in body length. It is not venomous in any significant way. It is not the fastest or the deepest or the most camouflaged. But what it does with its time is what separates it from almost every invertebrate that has ever lived. It collects coconut shells, discarded halves, found on the seafloor in coastal areas where coconuts fall or wash in from shore. The octopus carries these shells walking across the ocean floor on its arms, holding the shell against its underside, moving awkwardly, visibly burdened to a location it has chosen. Then it assembles 2 halves together and climbs inside. A portable shelter, a home it built. This was filmed and published in a peer-reviewed journal in 2009, and it caused a genuine debate in biology about what tool use means and which animals are capable of it. Because tool use, selecting an object, transporting it, and using it later for a purpose had always been considered a cognitive landmark, a sign of something. The coconut octopus does not just hide inside the shell when threatened. It carries the shell while it travels, tolerating the inconvenience and energy cost, because it knows in some functional sense that it will need it later. That is planning. That is delayed gratification from an octopus. Number 6. The day octopus. Most octopuses are nocturnal. Darkness gives them cover. The day octopus doesn't care about darkness. It hunts in broad daylight in the shallow reefs of the Indo-Pacific and East Africa, and it survives not by hiding in darkness, but by being the most astonishing camouflage artist in the ocean. Researchers studying the day octopus documented 177 distinct body pattern changes in a single animal over a 7-hour observation period. 177 different disguises. Different textures, different colors, different shapes, shifting with every substrate it crossed, every moment the light changed, every potential predator that came near. It is the most studied octopus in terms of camouflage, precisely because it has to use camouflage constantly, in full light, against predators that can see it clearly. And it never fails. It moves across coral, then sand, then rock, and with each transition, the transformation is complete before the transition is finished. It is also an aggressive, highly active predator. It hunts fish, crabs, and clams. It has been filmed using its arms to herd fish into corners of the reef and then engulfing them. It works fast and it works bold. A daytime predator in an environment full of things that want to eat it, surviving on speed and illusion alone. Length up to 40 centimeters. Lifespan around 12 to 15 months. Number 5. The Giant Pacific Octopus. This is the largest octopus species on Earth. The average adult has an arm span of around 4.3 meters. The largest reliably measured specimen had an arm span of 9.1 meters, nearly 30 feet. Weighed up to 70 kilograms, though reports of 100 kilogram individuals exist. It lives along the Pacific coast of North America, from California up through Alaska and across to Japan in cold, oxygen-rich waters, in dens under rocks, and ledges in relatively shallow water. It is intelligent in a way that gets the attention of researchers who study cognition in mammals. Giant Pacific octopuses in aquariums have learned to recognize individual staff members. They have shown consistent preferences, liking some humans, disliking others, and expressing those preferences through directed water jets, or by turning a certain color when a particular person approaches. They have been trained to pull levers for food rewards, to navigate increasingly complex mazes, to open jars. They have unscrewed child-proof caps. They have escaped tanks, traveled down drain pipes, eaten fish from adjacent tanks, and returned to their own tanks before morning, so quietly and efficiently that the only evidence was the missing fish and the wet trail on the floor. One researcher described finding an octopus outside its tank, across the room. For the third time in a week, the octopus had figured out how to open the lid. It had decided that the fish on the other side of the room were worth the trip, and it had decided to go home before anyone arrived. This is a 70-kilogram animal, problem-solving in a body that has no bones, no rigid structure, no constraints on what shape it can squeeze through. A drain pipe is a door. A gap under a lid is a door. Everything is a door, if you're willing to change your shape to fit it. Lifespan, 3 to 5 years. Which means all of this intelligence, the maze running, the face recognition, the escape artistry is expressed and then gone, in the time it takes most humans to finish a university degree. Number 4. The Blue-Ringed Octopus. 4 species. All small, the largest is about 20 centimeters. All found in tide pools and shallow reef areas across the Indo-Pacific, from Australia to Japan. All carrying enough venom to kill a human being multiple times over. The venom is tetrodotoxin, the same toxin found in pufferfish, produced not by the octopus itself, but by bacteria living symbiotically in its salivary glands. It works by blocking sodium channels in nerve cells, which stops electrical signals from traveling through the nervous system. The muscles stop receiving the signal to contract. The diaphragm, the muscle that makes you breathe, stops. You are paralyzed but conscious. You cannot breathe. If you are not on mechanical ventilation within minutes, you die. There is no antidote. Treatment is entirely supportive. Keep the person breathing artificially until the toxin metabolizes out, which takes hours. 9. The blue rings, the brilliant iridescent rings that give the animal its name, only appear as a warning display when the octopus is agitated or threatened. In its resting state, it is a mottled, unremarkable brown, something you might pick up off the rocks without a second thought. In its warning state, up to 60 rings across its body pulse and glow with a blue so vivid it looks unnatural. Because it is. It's a sign that means, do not touch this animal. If you touch this animal after seeing this sign, the consequences are irreversible. Bites are almost always the result of accidental contact. The octopus did not chase anyone. It was simply there in a tide pool, under a rock, and was handled or stepped on. It defended itself. And the defense is total. Number 3. The Wunderpus. The name is not a nickname. It is the actual scientific common name. From the German word for wonder, it was warranted. Found in the shallow, sandy, and silty areas of the Indo-Pacific Indonesia, the Philippines, Papua New Guinea, the Wunderpus is a long-armed, thin-bodied octopus with a fixed pattern of white spots and rings on a rich orange-brown background. Unlike most octopuses, whose patterns are entirely dynamic and changeable, the Wunderpus has a pattern that is stable and individual. Each animal has a unique arrangement of white markings, permanent, like a fingerprint. This has allowed researchers to do something almost impossible with octopuses: identify individuals, track the same animal across multiple encounters, build a picture of a single octopus's life, its territory, its hunting routes, its personality. And what they found is that Wunderpus octopuses have territories they defend, routines they repeat, and behavioral tendencies that distinguish one individual from another consistently over time. In other words, personality. consistent, individual personality. It is also a mimic, though not as versatile as the Mimic Octopus. It has been filmed impersonating sea anemones, flatfish, and lionfish. It hunts by herding small fish and crustaceans into ambushes. And it is, by any measure, one of the most visually striking animals in the ocean. That pattern, in that color, moving through turquoise water with its long arms trailing. Length up to 30 centimeters body length, with arms several times longer. Lifespan unknown. They are difficult to study in the wild and have rarely been kept in captivity. Number 2. The Argonaut. The Argonaut is not a typical octopus. It is sometimes called the paper nautilus, which it is not. It is an octopus. But unlike every other octopus alive, the female Argonaut builds a shell. Not a shell it inherits, not a shell it finds. A shell it secretes from glands in two of its specialized arms, papery, white, calcium carbonate, spiraling. It lives inside this shell, holding it with those two arms, carrying it through open ocean. It can be up to 30 centimeters across, though the octopus inside is much smaller. The shell is not for protection in the way a snail uses its shell. Current research indicates it is primarily used to trap air. The female manipulates the air pocket inside to control her buoyancy in the water column, allowing her to hover at whatever depth she chooses without expending energy. It is a buoyancy device she built herself, from her own body. The male Argonaut, like the male Blanket Octopus, is tiny, about 2 centimeters, and does not build a shell. He has one specialized arm called a hectocotylus, loaded with sperm. During mating, this arm detaches from his body and crawls into the female's mantle cavity to deliver the sperm. The arm continues moving inside her for some time after the male has departed. Early naturalists who found this arm inside female Argonauts believed it was a parasitic worm. They described it as a new species. They had no idea they were looking at a severed octopus arm, still functional, still doing its job, inside a completely different animal. Number 1. The larger Pacific striped octopus. For decades, this animal existed only in a single unpublished report from a researcher in Nicaragua in the 1970s. The scientific community largely dismissed it. The behaviors described seemed too strange, too far outside everything known about octopus biology. It was treated as an error, a misidentification. Then, in 2015, researchers finally obtained living specimens, and the 1970s report had not only been accurate, it had undersold the strangeness. The larger Pacific striped octopus is a small animal, mantle length around 5 to 8 centimeters, found along the Pacific coast of Central America in shallow coastal waters. And it does things no other octopus has been confirmed to do. It is social. Most octopuses are aggressively solitary. They are cannibals. They will eat each other on sight. The larger Pacific striped octopus lives in dens with other members of its species, up to 40 individuals sharing a single den site, tolerating each other, coexisting. This had never been documented in any octopus species. It hunts by grabbing shrimp from behind and tapping them on the opposite shoulder. The lifespan, the full range of behaviors, the social structure still being studied. There are only a handful of researchers in the world working on this animal. We have barely started. The strangest animal on Earth doesn't live in a jungle or on a savanna. It lives in water. It has 8 arms, and for all the time humans have spent on this planet, we are only just beginning to understand it. Every week we go deeper into the ocean, deeper into the wild, deeper into the parts of this planet that most people never get to see. If you want to be here for all of it, subscribe. It costs you nothing. And it means everything.